Deep within the wilderness God War's dungeon, lies a massive bot farm that was harvesting thousands, maybe even millions, of addy bars from killing Aviansies. Not only did these bots all look the exact same, but they all had the exact same stats as well, with both their range and hit points being extremely high. And believe me when I tell you, this bot farm was making a fortune off of these addy bars, along with all the other crap that these Aviansies would drop, which in return the bots would hatch, which is why so many of these bots would be carrying massive cash stacks. And although these bots were extremely obvious, they were somehow 100% undetected by JJX's flawless and immaculate botting detection system. Oh, and by the way boys, I'm now releasing RuneScape trading cards on the Ethereum blockchain, also known as NFTs. So these cards will be digital images that you can collect, trade, and sell. And they all have their own personal stats and special abilities. Like this gold farmer card, whose special attack is tallying to Varrock. And since it's ran on the Ethereum blockchain, these cards have the ability to gain value. Even if you don't plan on purchasing any, I urge you boys to check out my page. Now back to the show. When I first encountered one of these bots, I figured it was just a regular gold farmer. His reactions were slow. His gear was crap. And his name didn't make any sense. But his account was still decent, and obviously had completed a fair amount of quests. And the loot that we received was honestly pretty decent. So I didn't initially think that it was a bot. But that's when I saw that the loot was 182k. That seems a little bit suspicious. It wasn't until I went back out to the wilderness dungeon on a different world that I realized I wasn't dealing with some typical gold farmers. I was dealing with a full-fledged, black market bot farm, unlike I had ever seen in my entire life. Wow! The first thing I noticed about these bots was that once you attacked them, they wouldn't even try to run away and escape. They just stood there and took it like a man. Watch closely as I clap up this snakeskin robot with some massive fire surges, straight to his skeleton bird chest. And would you look at that, boys? Another massive cash stack of that savage gold. Ha 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 ha, wow. At first I figured this cash stack was probably going to be small. Most likely around 10k coins. But once I checked my looting bag, and saw exactly how much money we had inside, is when I realized that we were dealing with a huge problem. My goodness boys, take a look at that freaking loot. 364k? From a bot? Seriously? I could not believe my eyes. And the more I began to hop around, the more I realized that these bots are on almost every single world. Which means this bot farm could be potentially yielding in thousands, maybe even millions of real-life dollars. And there wasn't a single thing that JJX could do about it. Which made me laugh. Ha 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 ha. Silly JJX. You guys are so terrible at detecting these bot farms. But don't worry JJX. I'm here to help you guys out. And I'll be making a mental note of all the names of the accounts that are included in this bot farm. Wow! Another thing that I noticed about these bots is that none of them were using food, but instead they all were using bones to peaches. So whenever they would pick up the bones of the monsters they were killing, they would cast bones to peaches, and turn all of the bones into peaches. Which truly showcases how far these botters are willing to go, just to make as much gold per hour as they possibly can. Which made me sick to my savage stomach. And made me want to clap up this bot farm twice as hard. And for anyone watching at home who doesn't believe that this bot farm exists, then I highly urge you to head out to the God Wars dungeon in the wilderness and see for yourself. Because we need the community to come together, to take down these bots once and for all. But take note that you have to be quick with the teleblock. Because these bots indeed tele away quite quickly if you don't teleblock them right away. For as many bots that you see me clap in this video, just know there were about 50 that managed to tele away. But that didn't stop us from making some massive gains. Occasionally I would spot some regular players in the cave as well. Although, these players may indeed be bots as well, just running on a separate script. Nowadays you truly don't know. I remember hearing a story about someone who had a girlfriend on RuneScape for 15 years. Just to find out, it was a man. And that man was actually a bot. You just never know. Which is why you need to assume that every single person you run into on old school RuneScape is indeed a bot. Until they can provide a social security number to prove otherwise. Ha 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 ha, wow. Now boys, take a look at this clip right here. Because what happens in this clip is truly suspicious. Here I was on my way back to the God Wars dungeon, when all of a sudden, I ran into one of the biggest cowboys I had ever seen in my entire life. Not only was this guy training Wilderness Slayer, but he was dressed like the biggest noob I had ever seen in my entire life. Which normally wouldn't be that big of a deal, but due to the fact that this guy's account was level 115. It definitely raised some eyebrows. Green boots? Dragon? And a dragon chain? What was this guy thinking? I thought to myself as I slapped him around back and forth like a lumbridged duck. I thought for sure that any minute this guy was going to have a clan of maxed level mains run out from the trees and clap me with the quickness. But luckily, that never happened. And we made off with some massive bank. I'm not sure what exactly is going on in the wilderness nowadays. But something just doesn't seem right. I went ahead and went back to the God Wars dungeon, where I continued to clap down bot after bot. And they kept on dropping cash stack after cash stack. Not to mention massive amounts of those sweet and precious Addy bars. But the only thing that truly puzzled my mind was how this script writer was able to make so many bots with such high stats. Do you boys think that these accounts were once hacked and then turned into bots? Or do you think these accounts were botted by the same person since Tutorial Island? Please leave a comment down below on what you think, because I truly have no idea, and I want to know what you think. Either way, it truly sheds light on how serious the botting situation is becoming on old school RuneScape. Every single day these bots are becoming more and more advanced. Even to the point that some of these bots are completely unbannable and uncatchable. Which is why we need to slap them down and take their profits. That way this gold never makes it to the cold hard streets of the black market. And instead stays in the cold hard streets of Lumbridge. Ha 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 ha, wow. And as long as I walk the floors of this pixelated earth, I vow to slap every single bot that dares to come in my way. And if the owner of this bot farm happens to watch this video, just know that I'm coming for you, brah. Your days on old school RuneScape are numbered. Take a look at that total loot, boys. Nearly 2 million coins in just an hour of hunting this bot farm. I can only imagine how much this bot farm makes per week. According to my reliable sources, the numbers are in the billions. Wow. I also took the time to list the names of all the suspected bots in this video, and I will be reporting them to JJX. So hopefully, they get banned, even though they probably won't. And as for my NFTs, boys, make sure you get them while you still can. Because they are going to be worth thousands. Maybe even billions of dollars in the near future. And that's not an exaggeration. The link to them will be pinned down below. And if you happen to come across any strange bot farms in old school RuneScape, make sure you contact me on Twitter, Instagram, or my email. And I'll do everything in my power to slap them down. And like always, boys, God bless. John 3:16 for life, boys. John 3:16 for life. Ask Jesus to come into your life, boys. All you have to do is ask.